Today, I'll be using a crypto trading bot that will automatically use my money to buy and sell these coins. And basically, I'm going to do this for two different coins, Bitcoin and XRP. Both of them I'm going to put $50,000 into. And over the next few weeks, I will share the results. And the funniest thing is, it's all automatic and it's all copyable for everybody with the links down below. And I'll also share a link to the sheet where you can see the results. I've already been trying this for a while, and a couple of people I know have been trying this for way longer, the last, I'm going to say 7 months or so. It's been pretty amazing, but you'll see for yourself. Now, first things first, I will give away $200 to 10 people in the comment section if this video gets, let's say, 1,000 likes today. All you got to do is press the like button and comment something down below. If we get to 1,000 likes, I'll give 10 people $20, and that's basically it. Just, like and comment, I guess. But besides so that, all the links you'll be needing to join this challenge, which can be done from almost any country in the world really, are all going to be in the description down below. But I'll cover later exactly what you need to do. For right now, it's important to understand that I've been opening bots in a lot of videos throughout the last couple of days, right? Or actually the last 2 weeks or so. And depending on when you open them, you might be in a good amount of profit or actually at a bit of a loss. You can see how the bots for XRP and Bitcoin have been doing though over the past 2 weeks, but really, I wanted to up the game a bit. So I just had $15,000 in my account. I decided to add a bit more than 120,000, and I'll be opening two main trades, a Bitcoin trade, an XRP trade, and then I had another little bit of money left for maybe buying some altcoins, but I think we'll be doing that over the next few days. To get started, we gotta get ourselves an account over on Payonics. You can do that with the link down below right here. This will also make sure you can actually copy the bots later and get yourself some free sign up and deposit bonuses. So again, we make ourselves an account. I will quickly say that every single person who uses the link down below to make themselves an account, you don't have to verify ID, nothing, will get between $30 and $100 for absolutely free. Now again, this will only be so for a very limited amount of time because the last time they did it, they had to give away that much money because again, you just get $30 or $100 for just signing up. Link is down below. This will only be here for a few days. I'm guaranteeing you that. But anyway, as you deposit, you also are able to get yourself upwards of $800 for the bonuses. All the stuff will be down below though. Use this link right here to sign up, and then this link right here, Payonics bonus or something like that, in the description down below to get yourself the bonus only for probably another week or so. So do it as soon as possible. Then we have to deposit some money into the account. It might ask us for KYC1 or verifying your name and your country. If you're in, some countries out there that are a bit difficult, don't put US and don't put some of those things. You can put a country that's just easy with all this crypto stuff. I also did not send them my ID or anything. You can use any country in the world. Make it easy on yourself. The US has so many restrictions and you might need a VPN and all these other rules around it. All I'll say is it doesn't matter what country you're in. If you set yourself up nicely, you can follow along, all right? It might ask you what country you're in. Just don't put like US or North Korea or something like that. For name, I don't even know what name I put. Maybe Snowman or something. Maybe mini booster seat. I don't know what name I put. And there's a lot of features here we can use, but generally speaking, the ones I go for are futures bots because you could do it with spot. You could just make a normal trading bot, but the results will just be so wacky. It's just not worth it in my opinion. With futures, however, it becomes very, very profitable. And again, you will see over the next few months just how many hundreds of thousands of dollars this will make me. And if you're not convinced, at the end of the day, it's not financial advice. I'm just showing you what I am doing, and I'm giving you the option to copy. But you could also just watch along for the next few weeks or so and see how it's going for me, because I am completely convinced this is a freaking gem. Anyway, so we head over to Futures Bot, and actually it's all over on the right now. So this is the Futures Grid, what we're going to be creating, where it will basically, if we press create, we can actually see it. We put a low of the range, for example, $1.42 is until where we want to buy more XRP. At the end, we want to sell to about let's say 44. The reason you put a range of this sort and not just 0 to 100 is because it ultimately will be buying in the midst of it. If we put 403 grids here, you can see that if we put an infinite amount, for example, even more grids and put it to $0, well, then it's just going to keep buying, but also it's not going to buy as much per time because it's basically expecting the price to go all the way to 0 and then perhaps sell all the way at 344. We want to be as accurate around the prices we currently are at while also keeping some leeway for the price to make a crazy spike towards the downside or upside, and we still are in a good position. So again, I'm just putting these settings in. You can copy along if you want to or change things slightly. Now there's the question of how much do we want to put in. Again, I take this auto reserve off because it will basically mix up how much of an investment I put in this case here 50. Let's do 50,000. I could also do this in smaller batches, by the way, and put trigger prices, etc. And I'm going to do it with 5 times leverage to basically result in this case here with a $250,000 trade on XRP, where again my liquidation price as of this point is $1.59. But if I put some extra margin, for example $3,000, you can see I can change this price to $1.56. If I put maybe $10,000 for example, I can change this liquidation price to $1.50, and this is also something that's not too stupid to do, but I can change it all later. It's not that much of a hurry. If I put 11,000, you can see our liquidation is below $1.50, which is also not a stupid idea, but we can change that a bit later. For right now, $1.59 is completely fine to just open this trade right here. And honestly, most of the advanced settings you won't really need. All I got to do is just perhaps create the bot. So again, you can see here the distribution of investment. In this case here, it's given us a bit of a warning that, hey, we might want to actually change things up a little bit. We might want to add a bit more margin because it's actually within our range where we'd get wrecked. So again, I personally start adding some margin to make sure, again, right now it's 0, to make sure that this liquidation price is below your lowest buy point. But again, we're not in too much of a hurry to do that. Then again, let's just open this position right now. It doesn't matter that much. It doesn't have to be too precise because again, over a longer amount of time, the lower that the price goes, the more profit that you make. And the beautiful thing is, at least for me, I see it as a opposing strategy to holding. If I'm holding, let's say I buy 100,000 XRP, right? For example, $211,000 right now. The problem I've got at that point is that if the price starts going down, I'm not changing any coins. All I see is the dollar value of my portfolio now going down. What this hopefully can do is, let's say we start out with $100,000, that on average, as the price goes down and back up, and gets back to the same price, or really just goes down in general, it will actually, throughout that volatility, make me money back or make me money. So that even though on the short term, this may look awful, and you can see right now, because I put, it's a $250,000 trade, this will be volatile, right? I might be in thousands of dollars at a loss. It might be at $50,000 of a loss because, again, it's a $250,000 trade. It's fine, though, for the longer term because ultimately it's going to go down lower, right? As you can see right here, it will place a ton of transactions as the price starts falling, and then on the way back up, it is going to sell. So ultimately, we want the price to fall and then come right back up so we can actually make some money on it. And now having said that, so the first link is to sign up. This other link here, I might change it up depending on what bonus I'm able to get for you guys. But if you click that link, you basically will see a little overview of a few different bonuses you can get. One nice one is, for example, a deposit bonus, meaning if you deposit $5,000, you get $800 for free to open some trades with. It's just a nice little gift, a nice little bonus. But this might change to something else depending on what I can get from them. But anyway, you can only get this with the link down below. And then, like I stated, the other links are just to copy some of the bots that I'm in right now. And how it literally works is just press that link down below and you press copy the bot. And then you click how much you want to invest. It's literally that simple. And again, guys, I'll be doing this over the next few months and you will see just how crazy the results are going to be. I'm also going to be tracking everything in a sheet. So now in this case here, I put, I put about $120,000 again. And I opened XRP bot, opened Bitcoin bot. Well, at least I've not done it yet, but I'll do it in a second. And I, of course, have to state that I put 50,000 into this one, and I'll probably put about 50,000 in another one. And then I have 20,000 left for either margin or perhaps opening a few more bots. Maybe an ETH bot, we do $20,000 or so. But I might do that in a later day, maybe not today. Now, I should add, you might be thinking, Dusty, why didn't you add everything on the perfect bottom at for example, earlier $2, $60.07? Well, you can actually wait and time things perfectly or try to, but over a longer amount of time, I do not think it matters that much. It's slightly better, obviously, to get in a perfect bottom, but that's always the case of saying, you know what, if you're able to time the perfect bottom, you're going to make more money. I'm just showing you right now that even though we're back up a little bit, we have ourselves a way better position than just a few days ago. And ultimately, the volatility here, the up and down, is also what we're looking for to make a lot of money over time. Again, if you can't handle, negative numbers for at least a while, this ain't your game. To make a lot of money, you got to be able to risk a lot of money. In this case here, we're not doing that crazy. But even my other XRP position, my $300,000 XP position, is still at minus $61,000. But then again, to counter that, my, how much? Maybe, I don't even know, maybe $100,000 XP position on Bybit is still, I think, in $60,000 worth of profit. And ultimately, I still think the Bybit account is plus 300,000 or something like that, ultimately. So it's all a matter of perspective. It's all a waiting game. In this case here, all I got to have is just some patience. But anyway, now for our second bot, like I was saying, we will also open a new Bitcoin bot. And that's because I said before that I wanted to average in. If we look down, I only opened about $1,500 for SUI and HBAR because I thought, you know what, I'm just going to open one now and a big one later, but just kind of to prove a point of how these bots work. And in this case here, it proved out to be turns out to be a good idea because we went down 20% and 30% on these. So now I can actually get a better entry and actually add some money into it. Again, I stated that also when I opened these, but doesn't matter. You can see that ultimately it didn't really change too much. Anyway, so our XRP bot was just in a bit of profit, right? It was minus $500 just now. Now was it a bit of profit? Well, the nice thing is it'll also automatically sell, all right? And that's one thing a lot of people don't get with these bots is that the nice thing is it's not just well, like any long position really, that it just looks like a good P&L. No, it'll actually just, as it goes up and down, keep selling, keep buying. And that's what all these transactions right here are for, right? The buying and selling that it's all doing automatically. But regardless, let us open a Bitcoin bot as well. You can change all these settings, by the way. But in my opinion here, it's a nice way to start, or at least stop buying Bitcoin at about 59,000. We could actually do 59.5 or 59.1, something along those lines. But let's just actually do 58.9. You know what? We're going to be a bit on the conservative side. 58.9 is where you want to end our buys at. And basically on the upside, I'm going to say about 134,500, maybe something along those lines. I personally also think we could go slightly higher, but at that point, we will not need the bot too much to make profit because I also always have long positions open on the side that will make way more money if Bitcoin just starts to fly to, for example, $150,000 or so. So again, the bots here, they're mostly meant to make you a ton of profit with the price just going maybe sideways or slightly up or slightly down. If it's only up and up and up, you'd make more money with just the long, which you can also do on Payonix, by the way. But this is, again, to make money regardless of what happens to the price. So I think for Bitcoin, about 394 grids was the perfect amount. Yes, in this case here, you can see to where it's going to buy. I mean, zoom out a bit if you want to really perfectly see, but you can also see until where it's going to sell. I think 135,000 or 134-ish is, in this case, good enough. Good enough for now. We can always change it later if we want to, but I think it's solid. You can see if we zoom out a bit, for example, go to a weekly Bitcoin chart, we're buying pretty deep into the previous tops, meaning the probability of the price ever going below that is quite small, but also we can have our liquidation price be below 50,000, where even if the price does do something crazy and does decide to drop, 50% to 54,000, something like that, we still not be liquidated. It just means we will not actually be buying actively there, or at least rather, we're not waiting to buy there, because the counter is we want the range to be as tight as possible so it can buy as much as possible at the highest or best possible price. In general, you think lowest, but the thing is, it also has to go there. We want the lowest price that it actually goes to. So we basically want to max out the lowest price. We prefer the lowest price to be as high as possible just because the probability of hitting it is then higher, meaning it can most likely get more buys in. Regardless, so we have our range. You can see it right here. For investment amount, we are again going to do about 50,000. And in this case here, for my bot, I'm going to do 5x. But if you do not want a $250,000 position here, by the way, you can still change the number, I should add. You don't have to invest 50,000 like I'm doing. You can also invest like, in this case here, $700. And again, if you put a lot less grids, you don't want it to buy that much. For example, you only want 11 grids. You can see the investment minimum goes to only $17, but I personally think a lot of grids, in this case here, 394, looks like a juicy number. As at this point, our liquidation will be 68 because, again, it's 5x leverage instead of just 3, but we can add extra margin later. For the rest, I say this is the most important part, just again to get started. So we click create. It will give us a little overview, and again, we just press OK. And there we go. So the XRP position we opened just now is about $500 in the profit. Bitcoin is at a bit of a loss. This, again, will be very, very volatile throughout the next few days and probably forever, really. But ultimately, I will not guarantee you anything because I'm not your financial advisor. But I know, for me personally, and I think also for everybody who's copying along, that there will be tons of profit in these trades over time. And again, you might think now that me opening $100,000 worth of position is crazy, but I even thought now about depositing another $1 million to just go a bit wild. But I think the nicer thing is to just show you guys some results over time. So right now we open $100,000. Maybe in a few days we will open also some juicy trades on Ethereum and maybe Solana. Again, just bigger ones. I will keep the old ones open though as well, just to prove and show to everybody that even at 3x leverage, for example, things work out fine. But yeah, for the other ones, you can see I'll leave links to everything down below. Later on, I'll take it out the description and put it in a sheet. But basically, you can also copy along with the 3x Bitcoin bot instead of 5x. It's again just an easier, lower liquidation price. You can see from 51,000 it goes to 68,000, but that also means we'll make way more money with the volatility, of course, because this is 5 times as much on the volatility. This is only 3 times. So yeah, hopefully it makes sense. But yeah, instantly $500. I could now, by the way, if I wanted to, I could actually go here and press release profit. For example, hey, you see we are seeing about $500 worth of unrealized gains. I could press stop the bot right now and cash in my 500 bucks. I could do that right now if I wanted. Right now we made 500. Bam. I could press close and we made $500. That's it. I could right now $600. I could close right now and be happy with my day, but I'm not doing that. I could also have some different buttons here. I could add some investment if I want to go from 50,000 to 100,000. You know, I didn't have to make a new bot. I could have added to the old one, but I just don't want to mess around with the starting price and all that. So I'm keeping this purely to keep a better log. But if I was you and nobody else is looking at the trades, I would just add and change from one specific bot, so it's just easier to look at. I can edit the price range. I can adjust the leverage. I can change the name. For example, Dusty's main XRP bot. There we go. And then again, I will also change the Bitcoin bot to have a slightly nicer name. And I'll leave some links down below for you all to copy along. And like I said, all you got to do is go to the description down below, press copy the bot, this button right here. And all it'll then do is ask you how much you want to put in. And again, in this case here, the minimum is actually, in my opinion, quite high. So it's in this case here, a couple $1,000, I think like $2,000 maybe or so. But that's again because of the amount of grids we're going for. If I take the auto reserve off, it actually is a bit less. It's only 1,200. If you think that is too much, if you actually want to try things out with less, which to each their own, right? You can make your own bots here over on the right. For example, go to futures grid, go through the steps that I just showed you, and just use less grids. But for me personally, this is what I think some of the best settings are for longer term success. And so I also want people to be able to copy my best settings. Then again, I thought about making many different bots from many different risk profiles, but I also thought, you know what? I should just showcase what I think is best and let people decide for themselves because everything is customizable. And you might think, Dusty, why are you covering these bots every single day? It's because I don't cover that many crazy things every single day on a daily basis. I cover things that work, or really what I think it's just easy to do. And in this case here, it's just that good. It's literally that good. I don't understand why more people are not seeing that. You might not want me to cover it. I do get it. But it's such a good thing that I personally think I have to. I have an obligation to show more on how good this opportunity is because I know there'll be tens of thousands of people who will thank me soon. I'm guaranteeing that the amount of comments I'll get of people saying thank you for changing my life will be crazy. I'm guaranteeing you that right now. So yeah, that's why I like to cover things every single day. That's why I did a little bit of a tutorial right here, just covering how the different steps works, how the settings work. It's that good. I keep reiterating it. It is that good. It's that good. It's that good. Now, financial advice, I'm just giving you the options to copy me, and that's all I'll say about it. Again, probably every single person who's copying along will be seeing, but nah, I will not make guarantees. You know what? These are all the words I'll say about it. I'll be updating on these trades every single day. You know what, ladies and gentlemen, that's about it for this update. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you want to copy along and join, don't forget the giveaway. All you got to do is press the like button and comment something down below. Links will be down below. And that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. $500,000 worth of trades open today. Pretty juicy, but we'll do a lot more over the next few weeks.